Chapter 1. First Hinata, then Sakura, followed by Ino, Tintin, Tsunade, and Meiturumi. I want to insist on collecting them all, but I must cultivate the necessary affection levels by the way. At my current age, would pursuing Hinata be a tad too much? In the village of Konoha, at the Ichiraku ramen shop, a young man with golden hair and azure eyes lightly pinched his whisker-like markings. His eyes narrowed in thought as he awaited a large bowl of char siu, mentally devising his grand ambitions following his transmigration. Indeed, at this moment, Uzumaki Naruto's inner essence had been supplanted by the soul of a modern-day wage slave. In his past life, he had toiled more than any beast of burden, earning less than a mere chicken's feed, tirelessly scurrying to fetch packages and takeout for his superiors while occasionally donning the guise of a sycophant, pledging loyalty and working overtime without pay. Had the job market not been so ruthlessly unforgiving over the past few years, he would have likely chosen a propitious day to pour an iced Americano over the balding head of his middle-aged boss, allowing him to truly grasp the essence of workplace reform. Thus, one might say, having transmigrated into the world of Naruto, no less as the son of the sage of six paths, the laboring champion of the manga, the protagonist Kizaru, is it too much to indulge in the memories of my past life? Certainly, the life ahead would not solely consist of romantic escapades training, monster slaying, and the Nine-Tails' unique abilities would all be integral. After all, in this life, I can live for myself, no longer bowing my head in servitude for mere sustenance, engaging in an abundance of meaningless, marginal tasks. The large bowl of char siu has arrived. Uncle Ichiraku handed Naruto the glistening bowl, adding an extra slice of char siu. Today marks your first day as a ninja, right? The kindly uncle smiled warmly, encouraging him. You must do your best. Naruto responded with a radiant smile, then lowered his head to earnestly slurp his noodles. You see, even the esteemed Otsutsuki Ichiraku understands the value of aligning with the protagonist otherwise. How could he have resumed operations so swiftly after Pain's devastation of the village? How could he have survived until the conclusion, living in peace? In truth, the world of Naruto is not much different from Earth with a bloodline limit. One can stride confidently without lineage or connections. Even sending a trivial message could lead to misfortune, leaving one to bitterly smile while frantically typing GG. Even with utmost diligence, one might find themselves at the mercy of Uncle Snake and Kabuto's reanimation. Looking at the past Hokages, who among them was not embroiled in familial ties? Fortunately, this time, I am a legitimate Azura of the Eight Banners. With such thoughts, Naruto strode into the classroom, seeking a corner to curiously observe his peers. Sunlight filtered through the classroom windows of the Ninja Academy, illuminating the youthful graduates. Shikamaru, Choji, and Kibathir, just like in the original story, and Hinata has been stealing glances at me indeed. Her affection level has been maxed out from the very beginning. Sasuke is undoubtedly a heartthrob. His looks are impeccable. No doubt if a girl were to transmigrate here, she might very well cling to him and start fawning over him. Speaking of which, where is Sakura? As Naruto glanced around, he finally spotted Sakura in another corner, her expression serene as she gazed out the window. Her neat chi-pao, coupled with a high ponytail, accentuated her emerald eyes, lending her an air of cool detachment. Naruto furrowed his brow slightly. What's going on with Sakura? Shouldn't she be vying for a position with Ino? A sense of foreboding washed over him. It is crucial to understand that the greatest advantage of Transmigrator lies in their knowledge of the original plot and characters. If he had transmigrated into a world divergent from the Naruto canon, he would be in deep trouble. Who knows if a character absent from the original might suddenly appear and eliminate him. Please, I merely wish to obtain a Jonin position and perhaps establish a harem, Naruto thought, feeling a twinge of discomfort, his toes involuntarily tapping against the ground. As if sensing Naruto's gaze, Sakura glanced over from afar. Naruto felt a chill run down his spine as he abruptly turned away, only to see Sakura's brows knitting together in contemplation. After a while, as instructors began arriving to call their respective students, the number of pupils in the classroom gradually dwindled. The ambient noise in the classroom lessened considerably. According to Kakashi's character from the original, he would not make an appearance until the very last moment. At this point, Naruto was not merely restless, he was drenched in perspiration. The performances of the 12 ninja genin are quite standard, and the genin are all relatively normal. But this Sakura is undoubtedly problematic. Naruto specifically counted just now. Sakura had glanced in his direction at least 23 times. 23 times. Her scrutinizing gaze seemed to carry an air of evaluation. Why is she assessing me? Am I behaving strangely? Ah, yes, the prankster in me should be at the classroom door, clutching a chalkboard eraser, preparing to mischievously toy with Kakashi. I am acting too composed, which is decidedly uncharacteristic of Naruto. The current Naruto is not one to remain idle. With this thought, Naruto feigned nonchalance, rising to his feet and making his way to the podium, where he seized the eraser and propped it against the door with a playful grin. Recalling the exaggerated antics from the original, he exclaimed, "What's going on? The instructor for Team 7 hasn't arrived yet. I suppose we ought to teach him a lesson." Sasuke shot him a disdainful glance, remarking, "Such a trivial prank could never fool a genin." Upon hearing this, Naruto felt elated. Yes. This is the spirit. He then glanced at Sakura. Her expression resembled that of someone observing a monkey. Seriously, why can't I get a normal teenage girl reaction? Naruto's mind was filled with complaints, but he maintained a facade of calm as he returned the eraser to the desk, saying, "Sasuke has a point. No more pretense. I shall shift my approach to test you." After a while, the tardy Kakashi finally arrived, leading to the quintessential rooftop self-introduction segment. "He'll go first," Naruto declared, raising his hand to speak. Kakashi nodded, and both Sasuke and Sakura turned their attention towards him. "My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I absolutely adore Kong Shifu beef noodles, red braised, spicy, or sauerkraut flavors are all acceptable. My dream is to secure a genin position, subsequently leading a few genin teams while being perpetually ready to kick back and relax." With that, Naruto turned to Sakura, stating, "I'm done, it's your turn." His gaze sharpened instantly. "Now, how will you respond?" Sakura offered no extraneous reaction, simply stating, "I am Haruno Sakura. I have no particular likes, but I detest pretentious and foolish men. Whether or not I obtain a position is inconsequential. But I hope the higher-ups in Konoha refrain from discriminating against women." Upon hearing this, Naruto felt as though a heavy hammer had struck his chest, leaving him momentarily breathless. Her deliberate mention of position, her altered demeanor towards Sasuke, her modernized choice of words, and her gaze toward him as if observing a spectacle. Naruto's mind sparked a bold hypothesis. This Sakura, much like him, is also a transmigrator. To confirm, Naruto looked at her and suddenly asked, "Odd changes, even constants?" Sakura turned her head towards Naruto, her eyes narrowing slightly. "Symbols observe quadrants." "Indeed, it is as I suspected." Naruto inhaled sharply, then inquired, "May I ask from whence this brave warrior hails?" "I am from Fujian. I hail from Sichuan." "Ah, so you are a Sichuan girl. It's a pleasure to meet you." Naruto clasped his hands together. Not a cherry blossom maiden, but a feisty Sichuan girl known for her fortitude and the infamous reputation of being controlled by her spouse. Simultaneously, Naruto became acutely aware of a very serious issue. "Where's my harem? I must inquire." After all, having transmigrated into the world of Naruto, how could I not pursue the local native girls? Am I to chase after you? A mere avatar? If I had such interests, wouldn't it be better to woo a cosplayer instead? Perhaps a cosplayer could work? Ahem. Gathering his tumultuous thoughts, Naruto opened his mouth but found himself at a loss for words. "Let's discuss this in detail later," Sakura interjected, gesturing for Sasuke to begin his introduction. Kakashi scratched his brow, his gaze toward the two becoming increasingly peculiar. He had anticipated hearing Naruto's spirited ambitions or the tender affections of a love-struck girl. Yet now, it seemed he faced not a freshly graduated student, but rather an old soul akin to an apathetic genin. What on earth is happening? Did I miss something? The four of them completed their introductions in this bizarre atmosphere. Meanwhile, Sasuke's vengeful rhetoric fell flat amid the silence. Kakashi was left feeling rather vexed. Not only did Naruto and Sakura respond with utter indifference. But when he mentioned the upcoming outdoor survival exercise, repeatedly emphasizing the high elimination rate and ominously warning them not to eat breakfast as it would be vomited out, Naruto merely rubbed his nose and, as if awakening from a dream, read aloud, "Wow, what a terrifying task. I can hardly predict what will unfold tomorrow." Sakura adjusted her hair and chimed in, "This is a test of love. It's utterly nerve-wracking." She then cast a conspicuously deliberate glance at Sasuke among the four. It seemed that only Sasuke remained perpetually tense, his palms clenched into tight fists, the knuckles turning pale from the pressure. Kakashi scratched his brow, sensing that the situation was far from straightforward. Before long, Team 7 disbanded. Sakura found a secluded spot, hesitated momentarily, and then calmly stated, "Sasuke is most likely a local native. As for the other key characters, I've observed them, and for now, there are no signs of possession. What we can ascertain is that we both occupy the roles of the male and female leads." Naruto paused, slightly taken aback. "Your thought process is rather thorough. Indeed, we now need to discern the patterns of our transmigration. If this is a collective transition, then the trajectory of the Naruto storyline will be entirely upended, and we could very well meet an untimely demise." Surely not. Naruto's expression grew tense. "After all, I am the Jinchuriki. Even without the six paths powers in the early stages, the Nine-Tails should be able to protect me, and by extension, you as well, right?" Sakura shook her head. "It's not that simple. It's akin to the multiplayer mode in Elden Ring. While one can be reckless in single player, in multiplayer, one is beset by threats from all sides, especially since you and I are the protagonists of this narrative." Upon hearing this, Naruto's brows furrowed deeply. It wasn't that Sakura's reasoning was flawed, but rather the example she had chosen. Elden Ring? Have you ever encountered a wild, breathing, hardcore single-player female gamer? In Naruto's previous life, despite having spent over 20 years, he had only stumbled upon videos of a player defeating the boss without taking damage in Sekiro. Ahem, let's be honest here. Naruto turned to Sakura, his face filled with skepticism. "You wouldn't happen to be biologically male, but identify as female, would you?" Considering Sakura's earlier statement about hailing from the Sichuan-Chongqing region, it was worth noting that this area not only produced vivacious young women, but also a certain type of feminine being known as Zero. "What, you doubt my gender?" Sakura raised an eyebrow. "Can't a biologically female person play Elden Ring?" "Of course not, by the way. Have you played Black Horse?" "Yes, I specifically purchased the collector's edition, but this isn't the time for that discussion, is it?" Ahem, right. Naruto forcibly redirected his thoughts to the matter at hand, though an image of a rugged, unkempt man surfaced in his mind. TSK, that's hard to say, but it matters little. Anyone willing to buy the collector's edition of Black Horse must be somewhat decent, right? Naruto inquired. "So what are your plans now?" Sakura replied, "I will hasten my training in superhuman strength and learn some defensive techniques. You should focus on negotiating with the Nine-Tails and collecting your dues. Essentially, we need to expedite our progress." "Correct. We must race against time. But we should also strive to align with the storyline, so we can remain well-informed." "Indeed." Sakura nodded and added, "That's enough for now. We shouldn't linger together for too long, being the Jinchuriki. The third Hokage may send someone to monitor you." "Very cautious of you," Naruto remarked. "By the way, if I develop a close, comforting relationship with other female ninjas later, you wouldn't mind, would you?" Sakura's expression remained impassive. "Is that all you men think about when you transmigrate?" TSK, don't be so rigid. I can help you pursue Sasuke, Sai, or Kakashi as well." Sakura shot Naruto a fierce glare. "Scoundrel!" Naruto, exasperated, raised his hands in surrender. "Come on, you don't have some sort of virgin complex, do you?" Sakura retorted coldly. "I don't see the value in that. Rather than pondering such trivial matters, it would be wiser to consider how to survive in this world." With that, she turned to leave. "Hey, wait a moment. What is it? What about tomorrow's exercise? Can I borrow some chakra from Kurama to spar with Kakashi? Is that really necessary?" Sakura turned back. "You should go set off some traps early, and then we can run through the process after impressing Kakashi. We can wrap things up." "Smart thinking." Naruto grinned and gave her a thumbs up. "But I genuinely want to spar with Kakashi after all. I've never fought anyone in my previous life." Sakura considered and said, if you want to fight, that's fine, we still need to follow the procedure in the end. Understood. In the evening, after finishing his instant noodles, Naruto sat cross-legged on his bed, fully immersed in thought. In a daze, he sensed his body slowly sinking, the surrounding space growing damp, accompanied by the rhythmic sound of dripping water and a chilling breeze. Naruto opened his eyes, curiously surveying his surroundings as he walked forward. Soon, he arrived at a towering gate, faintly perceiving heavy breaths approaching him, accompanied by a hint of a foul odor. Naruto gazed ahead and said coolly, "Stop pretending to be asleep, we need to talk." Roar. A powerful roar surged forth, accompanied by a pair of crimson eyes slowly approaching Naruto. "Kid, why do you disturb my slumber?" The Nine-Tails' deep voice resonated within the confined space, causing the air around to tremble. Naruto replied, "We'll be coming to see you tomorrow. I'll need to borrow some chakra." The Nine-Tails narrowed its gigantic eyes. "Why should I heed your request?" "For only I can assist you in breaking the seal." Naruto chuckled softly. "This is a transaction. You provide me with chakra, and I grant you freedom." "Kid, do you think your lies are clever?" "First and foremost, I am not Kid. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. Make sure to remember it," he retorted. "Secondly, whether you choose to believe me or not is of no consequence to me." With that, Naruto turned away and swiftly returned to reality. Perhaps due to his recent travels, he felt a remarkable mastery over his own soul, far surpassing that of the original Naruto. Meanwhile, the Nine-Tails pondered Naruto's recent words and fell into silence. "Have you finished chatting?" Indeed, the Nine-Tails acknowledged the significance and urgency of the task at hand, vowing to fulfill its duties and enhance collaborative efforts moving forward. "Stop. Speak plainly." "Apologies, I've grown accustomed to drafting speeches for my superiors. It has become second nature. In any case, I managed to intimidate him, but extracting his chakra will require a more gradual approach. As so, shall we follow the usual procedure today? No rush. Let us toy with him a bit." In Konoha Village, at the training grounds, Sakura and Naruto were engrossed in animated conversation, completely oblivious to Sasuke, who stood alone in the breeze, casting increasingly peculiar glances at them. "Are you really that playful?" Sakura inquired, her brow slightly furrowed. In my past life, I never harmed, even in to survive in the brutal world of ninjas. I must seize every opportunity for training. There's no rush for experience points. Kakashi is a crucial NPC. Deviating from the script could lead to unforeseen complications. Actually, I've been meaning to ask, do you often indulge in soul traveling? Why? You speak in a torrent of gaming jargon. What? Sasuke, listening, grew increasingly confused. Soul traveling? Jargon. NPC. What on earth are these terms? However, his pride compelled him to suppress his curiosity, turning his gaze away while contemplating when Kakashi would arrive. Soon, accompanied by a puff of white smoke. Kakashi arrived fashionably late. "Good morning, everyone," he greeted lazily. He had expected the trio to confront him with indignation over his tardiness. Instead, Naruto stepped forward, saying, as expected of the leader, "You've already given us a vivid lesson on the first day." "What lesson?" Sakura queried. Procrastination. The leader, with the stature of a Jainin, remained unfazed while slacking off for half the day. Truly something for us to learn from. As he spoke, Naruto made exaggerated faces at Kakashi, leaving the latter somewhat disoriented. "Ahem, I encountered an elderly lady on my way here." Yes, exactly," Naruto exclaimed with a grin. "Next time, let me know which street. I'd like to help her as well." Kakashi was momentarily at a loss for words. He scratched his brow in exasperation before explaining the rules to the trio. In short, unless you are prepared to kill me, you won't be able to seize the bells. Upon finishing, Kakashi surveyed the three. Sasuke appeared tense, exuding an air of normalcy, while Naruto and Sakura wore deliberately composed expressions, their eyes betraying no fear. Particularly Naruto, whose excitement was palpable. An intriguing fellow, Kakashi mused inwardly. Let us see what skills you truly possess. Now, let the exercise commence. As soon as he finished speaking, Sakura and Sasuke retreated, while Naruto defied expectations, charging towards Kakashi like a bolt of lightning. He swiftly drew a kunai from his equipment pouch and lunged for Kakashi's throat. Kakashi's eyes narrowed as he deftly intercepted Naruto's lightning-fast strike, seizing his wrist in the process. Unfazed, Naruto pivoted his body and kicked at Kakashi's waist, only to be met with an elbow block. Seizing the opportunity, Naruto shot a glance at Sakura. Understanding his signal, she concentrated her chakra in her fist and struck the ground with tremendous force. With a resounding bang, echoing from the earth, a flurry of kunai erupted from the surrounding trees. Hurtling towards Kakashi, the entire sequence unfolded in under 5 seconds. Captured, Naruto flashed a cunning smile, disregarding the incoming kunai, instead focusing on leveraging his strength to keep Kakashi anchored in place. The rapidly flying kunai found their mark, creating numerous holes, specifically in Kakashi's substitution log and Naruto's shadow clone. Meanwhile, Naruto's true form emerged slowly from behind Sakura. He regarded Kakashi, whose expression was now complex, and praised him, as expected of the leader from the very beginning. Naruto had concealed himself within the forest, dispatching 2 shadow clones, one as bait, while the other hastened to Sakura's home, ensuring her cooperation in executing their plan. This was a tactical scheme Naruto had devised the night before. He did not anticipate immediate success. Rather, he sought to adapt swiftly to the rhythm of ninja combat through this exchange. Feedback suggested a clear deficiency in his combat skills, with many of his close combat actions relying heavily on instinct. Kakashi nodded slightly, a commendable attempt. It seems you heeded my words. He then rummaged through his equipment pouch, dramatically producing the make-out paradise. Here it comes, Naruto thought with a smile. The most significant difference between him and the original Naruto lay in his awareness of the story and his own life experience. Thus, he would never allow Kakashi's tricks to provoke him. However, Make-Out Paradise could also serve as Kakashi's Achilles heel. Leader, you're not watching that recently popular Make-Out Paradise, are you? Naruto strode overconfidently. Huh. Kakashi raised an eyebrow. Isn't that book unsuitable for minors? I haven't read it. Naruto shrugged, but just a few days ago, I met the author, a long-haired figure resembling a celestial being, and we discussed the plot of the book. With a mischievous grin, Naruto added, Kakashi-sensei, you wouldn't want me to spoil the ending for you, would you? Kakashi's once calm demeanor shifted dramatically. Wait, how did you coincidentally meet the author? Well, let me tell you about the conclusion of Make-Out Paradise. Hold on. Kakashi interjected, instinctively covering his ears. Nearby, hidden in the bushes, Sakura stifled a laugh, instantly grasping Naruto's intention. Meanwhile, Sasuke, witnessing this unfold, felt a chill run down his spine. What a perfect opportunity! He quickly drew a shuriken and hurled it towards Kakashi. Simultaneously, Sakura stealthily maneuvered around to Kakashi's rear, poised to exploit any opening. The trio executed a silent collaboration. Swish, swish! The shuriken flew accurately towards Kakashi, who appeared to possess eyes in the back of his head. Ducking just in time to evade the attack, the shuriken sailed past Kakashi, now targeting Naruto. Huh, you could have at least warned me. Naruto glanced at Sasuke, narrowly dodging the shuriken as Sakura edged closer to Kakashi. Reaching for the bells at his waist, at that moment, Kakashi, still covering his ears, chuckled softly. One of the insights of ninja tactics is body techniques that Naruto's scalp prickled, and he instinctively shouted, Sakura, get back. Meanwhile, a storm of thoughts brewed in his mind. This was intentional. He was absolutely doing this on purpose. First, feign a flaw intentionally. Then, as Sasuke and Sakura make their move, swiftly lock onto their positions and counterattack. In mere seconds, the offensive is neutralized and the control of the battle is seized. In this exchange, Naruto comes to appreciate Kakashi's formidable reputation. Although he possesses the memories of his past life, his current strength is insufficient to confront Kakashi directly. However, it is not Naruto's intention to forcibly collaborate with the Nine Tails. He does not desire a life-or-death struggle with Kakashi. Perhaps a different approach is warranted, as expected. The moment Sakura lunges forward, Kakashi seems to possess eyes in the back of his head, slightly shifting his body to effortlessly intercept her punch. Utilizing the recoil to retreat swiftly, Sakura lets out a light chuckle, her gaze shifting as she dashes in the opposite direction, converging towards Naruto. That moment, their eyes meet. Sakura, calm as still water, conceals the sharpness in her eyes. Confronting Kakashi without a hint of retreat. Kakashi regards Sakura with keen interest. Not headstrong, not reckless, knowing when to retreat, much like a lion in the grass that, after testing the waters with a playful strike, retreats upon realizing its opponent remains unscathed. Patience, restraint, and a gradual buildup of strength. Kakashi suddenly entertains a thought. This may well be the most challenging trio he has encountered at Naruto's cunning, Sakura's composure, combined with Sasuke's superior abilities. Intriguing. Yet, I shall not deem you worthy. Kakashi muses that he has encountered many such individuals, gifted and powerful, but that is of little consequence at this moment. Sakura races to Naruto's side. Have you had your fun? Naruto fixates on Kakashi. Let me try one more time to you truly wish to defeat him? Not exactly, Naruto replies with a grin. I plan to best him by unleashing the Nine Tails that I wish to conduct an experiment to ascertain how far we, as beings of Earth, can truly go. Initially, Naruto's intention was merely to follow the plot and perhaps indulge in some romantic pursuits. However, Sakura's words unveil the gravity of the situation. This is not a tale of a chosen one traversing to the world of Naruto, but rather a narrative where anyone can grow stronger. Consider this. What if someone were to inhabit the bodies of adversarial forces, such as Nagato, Obito, or Madara? In such a scenario, they would either dance upon the battlefield or perform a synchronized display for all. Thus, Naruto resolves not only to exploit the Nine Tails' power, but also to explore every possible avenue, transforming these experiences into sustenance for his growth. That you're being overly cryptic. What on earth is this experiment? Sakura inquires, perplexed that you'll understand once you see. Naruto retorts, abandoning his offensive stance as he gazes at Kakashi, a smirk playing on his lips. Boss, this sparring is rather pointless. I guess it. Kakashi squints. The rules are the rules. Should you fail to seize the bells in due time, I shall send you back to the Ninja Academy. Sakura ponders this. What can be gleaned from such a conversation? Naruto crosses his arms. Boss, you're a jonin. No matter how well we coordinate, we cannot possibly outmaneuver you. The crux of this task lies in teamwork. Solo efforts are futile. Wouldn't you agree? Kakashi nods. You certainly do not appear to be a mere underachiever. Sasuke gazes intently at Naruto, a storm of emotions brewing within him. Yet he suspects a deeper intricacy at play, particularly concerning the number of bells. With only 2 bells, yet an emphasis on teamwork. It is evident that internal conflict is inevitable. Naruto falls silent, then suddenly remarks, "This task is designed for one of us to make a sacrifice, isn't it?" Silence envelopes the surroundings, broken only by the whisper of the wind. Sasuke tightens his lips, a tumultuous storm raging in his chest. He has indeed noticed the limited number of bells, yet he had never contemplated teamwork or the notion of sacrifice. His astonishment stems from Naruto's ability to discern the essence of this task in a mere instant. Akin to a group struggling with a riddle until a seemingly carefree individual strolls by and casually reveals the answer. Is that reasonable? Not at all. Kakashi turns to Naruto, an expression of approval gracing his features. You are quite perceptive. Sacrifice is indeed the essence of this task, but why did you claim it to be meaningless? Do you not find that contradictory? Naruto chuckles. If you genuinely wish to test us, there would be no need for such stringent oversight. The essence of the task lies in how the bells are allocated. Seizing the bells merely assesses our capacity for teamwork. We have cooperated, yet you still deny us the opportunity for success and progression. This contravenes the fundamental purpose of the test. Upon hearing this, Sakura understands that he intends to outwit Kakashi through dialogue, and in a manner that diverges from the established narrative. According to the plot, Team 7 is Kakashi's first official team. All others were sent back to the academy. Kakashi subscribes to Obito's philosophy. Teammates are more important than the mission. Those who disregard their comrades are less than refuse. Only by demonstrating such values during the test will Kakashi deem them worthy. Yet this contradicts the sacrifice mandated by the task. Like mercenaries on Earth, ninjas are bound by their duty to complete missions. Could it be that your teamwork is simply lacking? Kakashi dismissively shakes his head. To be frank, your earlier performance was truly subpar for a ninja. Naruto chuckles, bemused by the underhanded tactics employed by these seasoned jonin. He maintains a facade of calm. We have all graduated from the Ninja Academy. indicating our overall competence. There's no need for such provocation. Let us do this. You can give the bells to Sakura and Sasuke, and I will return to the academy to start afresh. Kakashi feels a chill run down his spine. You intend to sacrifice yourself? Naruto replies nonchalantly. Not only do I wish to complete this task, but I also aim to ensure my teammates do not face expulsion. Does that satisfy you? Kakashi remains silent. The image of a one-eyed, short-haired figure materializes beside him, gently patting his shoulder. Do you wish to see them succeed? Kakashi turns to find a youthful Obito, Uchiha, smiling back at him. He has yet to provide me with an answer. Kakashi addresses the trio. Do you think the world of ninjas is so simple? Naruto, I am now inclined to deem you worthy, but your two companions shall not become ninjas. Naruto tilts his head, offering no response. Sakura, upon hearing this, feels a yawn coming on. Sasuke glances between Naruto and Sakura, then back again. Why do I appear to be the only one in a state of alarm? In truth, Sasuke is both astonished by Naruto's resolve and angered by Kakashi's remarks. And then there is Sakura, who remains expressionless throughout. Sasuke resolves to seek out the village doctor for a remedy for her apparent apathy. Yet, above all, it is Naruto who he finds most difficult to accept. Who gave you the right to be so noble? How dare you sacrifice yourself so heroically? What gives you the audacity to act so superior? You underachiever. Sasuke cannot help but recall that blood-soaked night. Back then, he was barely surviving under his brother's scythe, yet he bore the weight of his clan's hatred and future alone. Each day was spent either training or spiraling into painful memories. Even achieving top grades did not spare him from relentless gossip from passersby. Given all this, what difference does it make if he ceases to be a ninja? Could his situation truly worsen? Let me take on this burden. Sasuke stammers, his voice trembling in tandem with his body. I will be the one to make the sacrifice. Huh. Naruto turns surprised. You, with your thick brows and large eyes. What do you plan to sacrifice for? Aren't you seeking revenge? Sasuke glares fiercely at Naruto. Naruto, are you trying to act tough in front of everyone? You, the underachiever, claiming you would sacrifice yourself. Do you even understand what sacrifice means? Kakashi, give the bells to those two. I will withdraw. Naruto feels a sense of exasperation. Surely, there is no need to compete over who will withdraw. Sakura glances at the two. Perhaps I should return. I'm afraid these two clowns might end up hurting themselves in a fit of rage. Naruto and Sasuke. Kakashi falls silent once more. These children not grasp the severity of the situation at all? Kakashi takes a deep breath. Have you considered that by giving up now, you may never have another chance to become a ninja? Naruto shrugged, saying, I understand, but I voluntarily gave up for the sake of my comrades. It has really nothing to worry about. Sasuke clenched his teeth in frustration, exclaiming, they don't understand anything. Just let me. Sakura interjected. Why don't you both just fight it out? Naruto and Sasuke exchanged glances. Speechless, Kakashi, standing beside Obito's phantom, observed with keen interest. These children, despite their stumbles, are willing to sacrifice for one another. It's truly perplexing. Kakashi couldn't help but sigh inwardly, acknowledging, but there's one thing Naruto is right about, if given a chance. I would gladly trade my life for yours, Obito. You are a cherished companion. Obito's figure slowly faded away, leaving only a wisp of smoke. Kakashi turned to the three with a serious demeanor. You may choose to give up. That is your right. However, if all of you surrender, it becomes meaningless. Decide. Who will withdraw? Sakura remained silent, fully aware that the upcoming responses were crucial. Yet for reasons unknown, she was curious to see what Naruto would conjure up. Sasuke opened his mouth, eager to speak, but found himself at a loss for words, as if a fishbone were lodged in his throat. Naruto glanced at Sasuke, then at Sakura. What is this? If I say the wrong thing. I'll take the blame? Well then, I want to hold back that I suggest we all three give up, he declared with a grin. Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi were momentarily taken aback. After a pause, Naruto continued, don't you all think that being a ninja is rather meaningless? Kakashi looked at him in disbelief. Why do you say that? In order to complete missions efficiently, we must suppress our emotions, betray our humanity, and even turn against our comrades. Such ninjas are not worth being. Naruto's voice rose abruptly. Sasuke, You said yesterday that your dream is to revive your clan and exact revenge. But if you sacrifice yourself to fulfill a mission, what will happen to your revenge? Sakura, I met your parents. They are not great figures or heroes. Yet, they send their daughter to the front lines as if she were a great person. What is the point? For good luck. As for me, I simply wish to live like an ordinary person. But the villagers scorn me, and those around me look down on me that I have to strive to surpass the Hokage, seeking recognition from everyone. What kind of absurdity is that? In his previous life, Naruto had been labeled a private study by his colleagues for indulging in games and anime. Furthermore, they viewed playing Genshin Impact as a sign of being a weeb. Watching anime as an obsession with flat characters, and discussing manga plots as neglecting one's duties. These unfriendly remarks would fester, ultimately evolving into crude labels like goblin and rat. Eventually, as a corporate drone, he could no longer tolerate it and spent an entire afternoon in anger. I want everyone to recognize me. But if the cost is abandoning my teammates and extinguishing my humanity, then I would rather not. Recognition isn't exclusive to being a ninja. One can achieve it through other means. Sasuke, must revenge only be claimed by becoming a ninja? From today onward, I can practice with you. We can study ninjutsu at the library, train in the dojo, or seek out strong opponents to spar with. Sakura, I am willing to accompany you in all your endeavors, starting by driving away all the lowly men in the village, the pretentious ones, and then castrate those who toy with women, ensuring they can never stand upright, except for me. Sakura burst into laughter. Naruto remained unfazed and turned to Kakashi, whose expression had become increasingly dazed. Boss, I'd be glad to help you run errands, even purchasing the latest Intimate Paradise or movie versions. Sakura, with an expressionless face, retorted, Do you believe I want to report you to the higher-ups of Konoha for engaging in inappropriate conduct as a minor? Sorry, I misspoke. Sasuke couldn't help, but smirked slightly. Naruto, what exactly are you trying to say? Naruto responded with a grin. What I'm saying is if the concept of being a ninja is tainted, then there is no need to become one. If this world is distorted, then we must strive to change it. Following the twisted rules of this world leads to an endless dead end. Instead, let us reshape it and forge a new path. But, Kakashi interjected, isn't that path going to be exceedingly difficult? Naruto smiled softly. Beside him stood a figure clad in white robes with long black hair, whose sharp brows and deep-set eyes exuded a sense of danger and strength. If this were a dramatic moment, a powerful score would likely be playing in the background. The figure, a relic of a bygone era, chuckled lightly. How difficult can one person's perseverance truly be? Naruto bellowed. How hard can one person's perseverance be? With ample resources and a sharp spirit, as the saying goes, in the spring and autumn. The cicadas sing against the tide. The ambition of hegemony refuses to bow. With countless strategies, the Saint of Gu stands tall, who dares to defy the will of the people. The surroundings fell silent, leaving only the rhythmic sound of their heavy breaths resonating in the air. Sasuke felt a swell of youthful spirit, as if he were ready to confront Itachi in a battle. Sakura couldn't hide her smile, lamenting the absence of smartphones in the world of ninjas. Otherwise, she would record this moment and share it with friends, sparking discussions about family lineage. Kakashi, in shock, smiled and sighed, feeling a sense of comfort growing within him. And what about you two? He asked, turning to Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura shrugged. I fear that Naruto might genuinely challenge those lowly men, and I must stop him. Sasuke paused, then coldly scoffed, I don't need the title of a ninja. I refuse to betray my comrades. Kakashi nodded, reflecting deeply, I have nothing more to say. Therefore, regarding this mission, he addressed the three, You have all qualified. Sasuke's eyes widened in disbelief. Qualified? How so? Didn't we fail this mission? You did not fail, Kakashi shook his head. Indeed, the duty of a ninja is to set aside personal emotions for the efficient completion of missions. After a moment, he added, but as Naruto said, to abandon comrades to complete a mission. Such individuals are even less than refuse. Kakashi regarded Naruto earnestly. I admire your ideals, but I still hope you can operate as a ninja moving forward. Naruto, this world is rife with injustices. As long as there are people around, there's a chance to rectify those injustices. Kakashi took a deep breath. narrowing his eyes into crescent moons. Before you change the world, I will protect you. Upon hearing this, Sasuke understood. Naruto was taken aback, his gaze softening. Kakashi remained the same Kakashi, unchanging despite the shifting narrative. He would always be the teacher devoted to his comrades. Regrettably, the Obito he longed for must bear responsibility for his master's demise. Kakashi's promise would not solidify simply because of his warmth. Kakashi stated, from now on, we will officially undertake missions from the Land of Fire as Team 7. Now, disband. The bell tolled, marking the conclusion of their task. Sakura and Naruto headed to Ichiraka Ramen to satiate their hunger before finding a secluded spot. Let us hear it. Sakura leaned against the wall, gazing intently at Naruto. What exactly are you thinking? Why did you deviate from the script and engage in verbal combat with Kakashi? Before I answer your question, let me ask you one. Naruto chuckled softly. Why does Naruto always succeed in verbal dueling? Sakura's expression stiffened slightly. Because he is the protagonist? Exactly, Naruto nodded. When we first read the original story, we found Naruto's words quite compelling. The animation interspersed memories and touching background music. However, in reality, his words do not withstand scrutiny. But we, as travelers, are different. We know the main character's personalities, weaknesses, and abilities, allowing us to strategize effectively. This recent verbal duel with Kakashi was an experiment, and the results indicate that the narrative can indeed be altered. The potential for verbal dueling is immense, Sakura nodded thoughtfully. It's akin to speedrunning multiple playthroughs of Dark Souls, exploiting NPC bugs to obtain quest rewards ahead of time. Exactly. From this day forward, we must employ verbal subterfuge more frequently, while simultaneously ensuring that the narrative trajectory remains largely unchanged, thereby preserving the information advantage of the time travelers, a commendable notion. However, it is possible that the dynamics of the protagonist group may shift due to your verbal maneuvers. Moreover, one must remain vigilant, as there may be other Earthlings who have traversed dimensions. Understood. For the next few days, let us casually undertake some D-rank missions. Once the subrealm of Wave Country has been cleared, we shall ascertain the presence of any other travelers upon venturing outside. Naruto bid farewell to Sakura and returned home, sitting cross-legged in preparation to enter the spiritual realm. He intended to converse with the Nine Tails. With his eyelids tightly shut, he felt a profound transformation in the surrounding space, his perception sharpening considerably this time. As he opened his eyes, he mused, "It seems my control over this space has strengthened somewhat." He whispered, stepping forward and suddenly advancing several paces. Could this be the proverbial golden finger that allows one to navigate this world? Naruto quickened his pace, the space beside him receding rapidly. He soon arrived at the colossal iron gate before the Nine Tails. Unlike before, a pair of crimson eyes, larger than Naruto's own frame, bore down upon him, seemingly sensing his arrival. "What have you been contemplating?" Naruto inquired flatly. Uzumaki Naruto. The Nine Tails savored the sound of Naruto's name. "Few possess your audacity, appearing incredibly feeble, yet exhibiting such blatant bravado." As it spoke, the words reverberated in the air, as if an earthquake had transpired. Naruto shook his head. "You truly know nothing about me." To put it plainly, merely suppressing this space consumed half of my chakra. Even so, I can still summon thousands of shadow clones. The Nine Tails scoffed. "That is merely a natural ability of the Uzumaki clan. Nothing remarkable. You still require my power." "Incorrect," Naruto countered, shaking his head once more. "I am not here to negotiate with you, but rather to inform you." He paused before stating, "For the time being, you are of no use to me. You might as well remain confined here for a while." The Nine Tails fell silent for a considerable time, yet the surrounding space did not grow tranquil. Instead, it began to exhibit signs of rupture. Strands of crimson chakra began to seep out from the entrance, flowing towards Naruto. "Kid, you don't actually believe that passing a single test renders you invincible, do you?" The corners of the Nine Tails' mouth curled into a menacing grin, revealing its formidable gums. "Now, let me show you just how vast the chasm between us truly is." Unfazed, Naruto simply extended his right index finger, gesturing dismissively at the Nine Tails, and then suddenly summoned his mental energy upward. In an instant, Naruto's consciousness leapt from the spiritual realm, akin to a fish leaping from a pond. The surroundings morphed back into the familiar visage of home. That Naruto's shirt was damp with perspiration as he leapt from his bed. Taking several deep breaths, gently touching his racing heart, he chuckled. I think I might be developing a case of megaphobia. To be frank, he was still somewhat unaccustomed to interacting with the immense Nine Tails. This discomfort could only be alleviated with time, through frequent conversations that would gradually desensitize him. On another note, Naruto felt a modicum of satisfaction with his current progress. Why had he declined the Nine Tails chakra earlier? Firstly, that chakra was rife with negative emotions, and secondly, he needed to engage in this back and forth to diminish the Nine Tails' perceived value. In other words, it was a matter of PUA. This was a game Naruto was well versed in. In his previous life, while grinding through company sublevels, his superiors often used excuses like insufficient experience or lack of innovation to encourage him to work unpaid overtime to bridge the gap with his colleagues. Complete nonsense. Some of the fresh recruits from prestigious universities could barely comprehend Excel, yet it was he who guided them step by step to ensure tasks were completed on schedule. However, through this experience, he grasped the essence of PUA.B. Why consistently belittling others until they were on par with himself, he could assert his own value. Just like that bald-headed supervisor of his. Now, he needed to continually downplay the Nine Tails' worth, thereby bringing it to a comparable level to his own, thus facilitating future negotiations. In the evening, Naruto visited Ichiraka Ramen to satisfy his hunger, discovering that the handmade noodles crafted by the elderly chef had become increasingly irresistible to him. Even the thought of the savory chashu made his mouth water. Could there be potent ingredients from the Otsutsuki clan hidden within the chashu? After his meal, he hurried to the training grounds. Commencing practice with shuriken techniques, Naruto was acutely aware that at this stage, his chakra was primarily dedicated to suppressing the Nine Tails, making the practice of new techniques less effective. He would incorporate the Rasengan into his regimen after some time. Interestingly, he encountered Sakura at the training grounds, who was engrossed in experimenting with techniques he could not comprehend. Sakura did not invite Naruto to train alongside her. She was absorbed in her own practice. Another overachiever, Naruto muttered as he continued his training. His curiosity about the true nature of Sakura within her current guise grew. Naruto remained unable to ascertain whether she was genuinely a girl or a cunning trickster. Thus, time passed. Naruto's life began to adopt a more structured rhythm, completing low-level missions, training, studying, and engaging in a cyclical routine. He started to carve out time to visit the library, refreshing his knowledge of ninja theory to fill the vacant space in his mind. On certain sleepless nights, he would enter the spiritual realm to converse with the Nine Tails, largely repeating the same PUA rhetoric, relentlessly belittling the Nine Tails' capabilities. Yet he refrained from utilizing even a drop of chakra, inciting the latter's frustration. The Nine Tails grew increasingly desperate to prove itself. Yet Naruto remained indifferent at tea times. When he grew weary of training, he would swiftly dive into the realm of his mind, vociferously reprimanding the Nine Tails before promptly returning to reality. What a relief! Amidst this tranquil routine, two significant events transpired. The first was Sasuke's arrival. He vividly recalled Naruto's statements from that day, and after completing a few Durang missions together, he frequently spotted Naruto practicing shuriken techniques at the training grounds. What a coincidence! He himself was a skilled shuriken practitioner, heavily influenced by his brother. Thus, during one instance when Sasuke observed Naruto training once more, he awkwardly pointed out a flaw in Naruto's technique. Naruto immediately perked up. Oh, the aloof one has taken it upon himself to offer guidance, has he? Why should I heed your advice? Is your shuriken technique truly that impressive? Naruto stuck out his tongue, questioning Sasuke's ability. Nearby, Sakura, who was also training, paused with keen interest, ready to watch the unfolding drama. That a few of your movements are incorrect. Throwing in such a manner lacks lethality. Who knows? Maybe the charming Sasuke could actually pack a punch with such a throw. Naruto retorted, "What did you say?" Sasuke's temper flared. "Unless you demonstrate it, I won't be convinced." Naruto settled cross-legged on the ground, gesturing for Sasuke to commence his demonstration. Sasuke suppressed his rising anger, drawing a series of kunai and launching them with precision, hitting the targets on several wooden posts. Impressive, Sasuke-kun. Sakura clapped, playing the supportive role. Huh. I didn't even see it clearly before you threw. Naruto waved dismissively to Sasuke's veins bulge on the back of his hand. If you're so confident, why don't you give a shot? No way. That would lead to self-incrimination. Naruto leaped up, grinning. How about this? Let us compete and see who achieves the higher score. Let us do it. Moments later, that doesn't count. You were standing there and distracted me. Naruto shrugged. You clearly held the kunai incorrectly. You should grip it from the bottom, draw your arm back to build momentum, and your body needs to rotate accordingly. Blah, blah, blah. Naruto feigned indifference, but mentally noted Sasuke's key points that I'll only believe you if you show me again. Forget it. You'll probably keep pestering me anyway. Naruto, get another go. Sakura stifled her laughter. Watching the two continue to throw while jotting down the essentials in her mind. You're applying too much force. In a real battle, you'd overshoot your target. Pay attention to the wind. You need to increase your throwing strength against the headwind. The waist and shoulders should not be rigid. Rather, they ought to engage the entire body in exertion. Unbeknownst to them, an entire afternoon slipped away. You speak as if there were a hint of truth in your words. Naruto extended his right hand to sketch a slender outline. I suppose I've grown by a mere fraction. Sasuke, however, turned his head away, appearing disinterested in conversing with Naruto. Yet, in reality, this was the most fulfilling afternoon he had experienced in quite some time. He had not engaged in such extensive dialogue with peers for ages. Moreover, as he continually corrected Naruto's posture, Naruto's accuracy in throwing steadily improved, which unexpectedly instilled a sense of accomplishment within him. It felt as if he had unlocked a mentor's aura, making it difficult for Sasuke to pull away. On the second day and the third, Sasuke would occasionally coincidentally encounter Naruto during training and, feigning an inability to bear the sight, would begin to offer pointers. During this period, both Sasuke and Sakura were rapidly advancing in their skills. Occasionally, Sakura would venture to the convenience store to purchase 3 bottles of water, occasionally taking on the role of a part-time assistant collecting shuriken. Naturally, Naruto and Sasuke continued to bicker as their primary activity. The trio's synergy continually improved, and according to Naruto's own estimations, the strength of Team 7 had far surpassed that of their counterparts in the original narrative. Interestingly enough, since Sasuke began training with Naruto and Sakura, his inherent charisma attracted the attention of several contemporaries who paused to watch. Among them were mostly girls nursing crushes on him. After all, previously, Sasuke would seek out secluded spots for his training after completing missions, leaving no one aware of his whereabouts. In addition to the girls infatuated with Sasuke, there were also a few boys who, upon passing by, quickly found themselves captivated by Sakura Haruno. This Sakura, hailing from the Sichuan-Chongqing region, was entirely different in personality from her original self. After her transmigration, she completely abandoned comic reading, flower shop visits, and other leisure activities, dedicating herself solely to her training. In her own words, she likened it to a single-player game where one grinds levels before venturing into dungeons, yielding an exhilarating sense of fulfillment. Naruto remarked that it was akin to a seasoned player dominating a lower-ranked match. Just then, he received a sharp smack on the back of his head from Sakura, resulting in a sizable bump resembling a basketball. Indeed, her raw strength was escalating at an astonishing pace. Thus, a girl who habitually wore her hair in a high ponytail, eschewed shopping, refrained from perming her hair, spoke little, lacked any special talents, and devoted herself entirely to training, emerged as a formidable combat-ready Sakura. Even Ino temporarily shelved her Sasuke pursuit agenda to express concern over whether Sakura had taken a turn for the bizarre. Sakura's response was succinct. Do not disturb my training. This unyielding attitude swiftly captured the hearts of several young boys. It is worth noting that Sakura had once been the object of fervent admiration from Lee, and in terms of appearance, she was undeniably appealing. The early phases of her original self's over-the-top romantic notions, coupled with teasing Naruto about being an orphan, had alienated her from many potential friends. As a result, Sakura began attracting the attention of some boys from her cohort. Initially, she politely declined all their advances. However, as time progressed, some persistent suitors began to loiter outside her home, showering her with concern daily. Overwhelmed by their attention, Sakura's patience began to wear thin in an effort to put an end to the incessant pursuit. She chose a sunny day and casually asked a random boy, "Do you have any adult-themed books?" The boy was taken aback, and simultaneously, Naruto, who had been eavesdropping, was utterly flabbergasted. Sakura repeated her question. "Do you have any adult-themed books?" I do," the boy stammered, racking his brain to align with Sakura's inquiry. He couldn't help but imagine an inappropriate scene, the sort of content that would not pass censorship at a publishing house, that if you do, then you should hurry and read them. Conversing with you is rather bothersome. Sakura stated matter-of-factly. The boy was left speechless. Naruto, on the other hand, struggled to stifle his laughter, thinking to himself how this young lad had just been thrust into a bizarre situation, akin to crossing into the realm of a close friend. This outrageous remark spread like wildfire, and thus, Sakura Haruno earned herself a reputation as a sharp-tongued individual. Meanwhile, the boys who had initially intended to pursue her quickly retreated. During this time, a few envious boys began to spread rumors about Sakura. Upon hearing this, Naruto thought to himself, "What a day," and promptly dragged Sasuke along to confront those responsible. Time flew by swiftly. Today, Team 7 had accepted a mission to assist a prominent figure in capturing Target. According to the narrative, after completing the mission, Naruto would create quite a stir, leading the third Hokage to assign them a protective duty in the Land of Waves. Before departing, Naruto greeted Sakura, stating that they were about to embark on the mission to the Land of Waves. After organizing his ninja tools, Naruto remarked, "I've been observing for a while, and there have been no signs of any other traveler from different worlds in Konoha. Why reasonable assumption is that? Apart from us, there will be no other newcomers in fact, I have a strong sense that no other travelers exist." Sakura did not respond. She merely rubbed her eyes. Her right eyelid had been twitching incessantly. Introduction, Naruto. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I love Kong's Shifu beef noodles, whether it be braised, spicy, or pickled cabbage flavored. My dream is to become a jonin and, on the side, lead a team of genin. Sakura. I am Haruno Sakura. I do not have any particular likes, but I despise pretentious men. Whether or not I hold a position is irrelevant, as long as there is no gender discrimination. Naruto. Wait, does that mean the odd and even changes? Sakura. Symbols indicate quadrants. Naruto. Whoa. May I inquire where this heroine hails from? I'm a native of Fujian. Sakura. I am from Sichuan, Chongqing. Naruto. So? You are a girl from Sichuan. It is a pleasure to meet you. Salute JPG Sasuke. What are you two discussing? Kakashi rubbed his brow, sensing that the situation was more complicated than it appeared.